Okay, so in today, like we'll start with data-driven testing. That means like how to read the data from Excel sheets. Okay, so basically for reading the data from Excel, we use something called Apache POI. Okay, so Apache POI is these are like separate jar files which we have to download and configure these ones. But since we are using Maven, we can use the dependencies for this Apache POI. Okay, we use the Apache POI for Excel data driven testing. Okay, Apache POI is a Java API for Microsoft documents. Using this API, we can access Excel documents, read data from them, and write data to them. Okay, now let us see without Maven, like if we do this one, okay, we can just go to Google. Okay, you can say Apache POI. Okay, download. Okay, so Apache POI. If we go into here, you can. This is where you can download all the documents, all the jar files that are needed for working with Excel documents. Okay, so we can download it and we can manually configure that one. Okay, I mean without if we are not using Maven, we have to download this and manually configure. But since we are using Maven, we can use the dependencies for this. Okay, the main dependencies that are needed are POI, OOXML, and POI. These are the two dependencies that are needed. Okay, now yeah. So yeah, if we don't if we don't have Maven, then we have to configure the build path and add all the jar files downloaded. Okay, all these jar files that we download, we have to add them manually. Okay, otherwise we can just include these two dependencies. Okay, one is POI and another one is POI-OOXML. Okay, let us see how to get them. Let's just go here. Okay, Google and say Maven Apache POI dependency. Okay, just search this one and you will find Maven repository arc.apache.py. Okay, once you get to this one, okay, so this is the latest one, 5.2.3. Okay, let's use this one, 5.2.3. Okay, so this is POI dependency. So we have to use this one. Let me copy this one and let's go into the project. Okay, so in this project, so yeah, this is the one, right? So go to the pom.xml in our project. If we go into pom.xml in our project, okay, go to the dependencies. Okay, so for we have only Selenium Java for working with Selenium. So let's add our dependency here. Okay, let me remove this one. Okay, I have added Apache POI dependency first. Okay, and then what is the next one that we have to add? The next one is POI-OO XML we have to add. Okay, let's go into this same Google Apache POI, or we have this second result. Let's go into this second result. So we have added Apache POI already. Okay, now we have Apache POI. This is the one that we have added. Let us see Apache POI-OXML. If we can't find it here, okay, so there is something like Apache POI-OXML Lite is there. Well, okay, let's search it. Okay, let's search it in Google. Apache POI-OXML. Okay, so let's go into here. Okay, so use now the same versions for both. Okay, in this one we have used 5.2.3. So for POI-OOXML also use the same version. Okay, let me copy this one. Okay, let's paste it here. Okay, so I have added both of these dependencies, POI and POI-OOXML. Okay, now let me save this one. I've saved this one. So now it is building. If you see on the right hand side bottom corner, okay, now it is building. Okay, now it is done. That means, okay, all the dependencies, jar files that are needed for working with the Excels, they are downloaded now. Okay, using these two dependencies. Okay, now we can start working with Excel. So let's create a new package here. The new package is package. I'm doing it something like Excel operations. Excel operations. Okay, so this is a new package, and let me create a new class here, which is something, let's say PR01 basic program. Okay, okay, so this is a basic. First we'll see, like, the basic program. Let's use a main method and click on finish. Okay, now let's go into here. So we have added these two dependencies. Okay. Sorry. Now let us say we have an Excel sheet like this, okay, where we have the test case, first name, last name, age, company, and salary. Okay, so this one we have already created it here. So I have already, I think, like, I should have somewhere here, yeah, data folder I have created. Okay, in this one, for creating this data folder, just right click on this project, okay, new, and then click on this folder, okay, folder, and give the folder name here. Give the folder name data and click on finish. Okay, but data, like, I have already created, that's why it is showing like data already exists. Okay, under this data folder I have like multiple Excel sheets. Okay, now I have one Excel sheet here, which is sample underscore xlsx. Okay, if you see the extensions here, basically we have two kinds of Excels. One is xlsx extension and another one is xls extension. Let me get my pen, just give me 1 second. Okay, so basically we have, like, two kinds of Excels. One is with extension xlsx, okay, and another one is with extension xls. Okay, so these are the two kinds of Excel sheets that we have. Okay, so we can see this one, the sample dot underscore xlsx. This is with extension xlsx. Okay, let me open this one. Just right click on this one, go with the, open with, and then go with system editor. Okay, if I open this one, okay, I can see that, like, this is, I have different columns here. One is, like, test case, first name, last name, age, company, salary, manager, and date of joining. Okay, so these are the different data that I have in this Excel. Now I want to read this data from this Excel. Okay, let us see how to do this, do that one. Okay, now, okay, so now create a separate folder under the project with name data and store the Excel file if you have created. Okay, create the object. Okay, now since we have two kinds of Excels, one is xlsx and another one is xls. Based on the file that we are using, first we have to create an object for the workbook. Okay, and the object that we have to create is, if it is xlsx, we have to create an object for xssf workbook. Okay, if it is for xls XLS, then we have to create an object for HSSF workbook. Okay, just remember this one. So if it is xlsx, we have to, okay, so how do we normally, like, manually do it? Okay, the first thing we do is, like, first we'll open the workbook, right? First we'll open the workbook, and next what we'll do, we'll go to the particular sheet workbook, like, that Excel workbook contains different sheets, and we'll go to the particular sheet. And once we go to the particular sheet, then what we'll do, we'll go to the particular row in the Excel. And then what we'll do, we'll go to the particular cell where we want the data, and we take the data, right? So that means we have first workbook. Okay, we will open this workbook, and then we'll go to the sheet that we want in the workbook, and then we will go to the row that we want in the sheet, and then we'll get the value from the cell. Okay, the same thing we'll do, but based on the workbook that we are using, we have to create the objects accordingly for this workbook first. Okay, so if it is xlsx, okay, then we use xssf workbook. So this is a class. Basically, this is a class that is created by this Apache team. Okay, so by using this Apache POI and POI over XML, we are downloading the jar files that contain these classes. Okay, so for xlsx, it is xssf workbook, and for xls, it is hssf workbook. Okay, these are the, since we are working with this one, first we have to create an object for this one. Okay, so okay, once we do that, then we have to get access to the sheet. How do we get access to the sheet? Again, there is another class for this one, okay, which is xssf, okay, yeah, xssf sheet. Okay, based on the, if it is xlsx we are using, then we have to create an object for the sheet using xssf, okay, sheet. Okay, if it is XLS, we have to use HSSF sheet. Okay, so now we create an object for the sheet, and once this is done, then we create an object for row. Okay, so now, yeah, under this XSSF sheet, we use this sheet, okay, to get the particular sheet that we want. Okay, now create an object for the row using the sheet. Okay, now we have created, okay, first we have created an object for the workbook. Okay, and then using get sheet method, we will get the object for this xssf sheet, and then we use the get row method from the sheet xssf sheet object that we have created, and we get the object for the row, and then we use get cell method on the row to get the object for the cell. Okay, so let me show you. So once this is done, then we'll create an object for a row. Okay, this is another class. Okay, by using get row method on the sheet. Okay, on this sheet. Okay, and then we'll create an object for the cell using get, sorry, this is get cell method. Get cell method. Once we get the cell object, then we have different methods on the cell, which are, like, the get string value, get numeric value, based on the type of the, for example, if it is a first name, this is basically a string, so we use get string value. Age, this is a number, so we use get numeric value. Like that, we use different methods to get the values. Okay, so, do you guys understand this one? First, we will create an object for the workbook. Okay, now we have the object for the workbook. Okay, so this one, and then we will create an object for the sheet. How do we create an object for the sheet? Okay, we use get sheet method, workbook dot get sheet method. Okay, and we'll pass the number. Okay, and we'll get an object for the sheet. Now we get the object for the sheet. Now we have to get the row. How do we get this one? We use sheet dot get row method. Okay, and we will get an object for the row. Okay, and once we get the row, and then we will use get the cell object using row.getCell method. Okay, now we got this cell object. So we use the methods. What are the methods we use? Get string value. If it is a string that cell contains, then we use get string value or get numeric value. Okay, so these are the methods that we use. Any questions so far? Do you guys understand this one? Everyone?
Yes.
Okay, so these are the basics that we follow in reading the data from an Excel sheet. Okay, now let us see the basic program for this one. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do, okay, we have our data in this one data folder. Okay, so and it is sample underscore xlsx. Okay, so now the first thing we have to do is we have to create an object for the x. Since this is an xlsx, okay, so we have to create an object for xssf workbook equals to, okay, let me import this one. So sorry, this is workbook. So let me import this one. Import xssf workbook from Apache POI xssf user module. So this is the one that we have used the dependency for Apache POI. Okay, so let me import this one. Is equal to, how do we create this one? We use new xssf workbook. Okay, new xssf workbook. Okay, but this new xssf workbook, okay, we have to pass the path of this one, path of this sample. So how should we pass? First we have to, this will accept an object, file input stream object. Okay, so for this one what we have to do is file input stream. Let me import this one. Okay, import file input stream from Java. Okay, file input stream fis is equal to new file input stream. Okay, and we can provide the path data uh, slash data slash sample, okay, underscore xlsx dot x, sorry, xlsx dot xlsx. Okay, let me we have to add this throws declaration. Okay, we are done. Okay, now we have to pass this file input stream object, okay, to this xssf workbook. Okay, and again it will we have to add this throws declaration for this one. Okay, now we are okay. So now we have created a workbook object using xssf workbook. First, we have created a file input stream object. Okay, file input stream FIS is equal to new file input stream of data slash sample underscore xlsx dot xlsx. Okay, we have to pass the path of this one. Okay, once we pass the path of this one, then we can create, once we create this object for file input stream, then we can create an object for this workbook using xssf workbook, because we are using file with xlsx extension. Okay, so now once this is done, the next thing that we have to do is we have to create an object for the sheet. Okay, so how do we create an object for the sheet? We have to use xssf sheet here. Okay, and then on this workbook we have a method get sheet method, and we can pass the name of the sheet. For example, in this one, if you see, okay, so the sheet name is sheet 1 here. The sheet name is sheet 1. So we have to pass the name of this one. Okay, so let us create an object for, so here it is create an object for workbook. Okay, and the next one we have to do is create an object for sheet. Okay, So in this one, what we have to do, xlsx sheet object we have to create. So sheet equals to, okay, let me import this xlsx sheet first. Okay, import xlsx sheet, okay, equals to, we will use new xlsx sheet of, and sorry, no, not new, we have created the workbook, right? So we have to use this workbook object dot get sheet, and we have to provide the name of the sheet. In our case it is sheet 1. Okay, so now we have created an object for the sheet. Okay, and once this sheet object is created, then what we have to do, we have to get the row. Okay, so basically what rows we have these different rows. Okay, so let's access the first row in this one. Okay, so we have to use in this one, create an object for a row. Okay, so we have a class called a row. Okay, row equals to sheet dot get row, and I am using 1. Okay, and we have to import this row class. Okay, now I got access to the row, and now I have to get access to the cell. Okay, create an object for cell. Okay, cell equals to row dot get cell, and let's access the first cell. Okay, so now let me import this one. Import cell from this. Just make sure that you are importing it from arg.apache.poi. Okay, so let's import this one. Okay, so everything here is like, from POI only. Yeah. Okay, so now we got the cell. Okay, once we get this one, okay, once we get the cell object, okay, then we have to use cell dot get string cell value, or cell dot get numeric cell value, like that, based on this one, based on the, since we are getting like, okay, I think like it starts from 0 itself. The first one is first 0th row, and this is first row, second row, like this. Okay, again this column is the 0th column, first column, like this. So first row we are getting, and also first cell, so we are getting Robert, so which is a string value. Okay, so let's use this one. Okay, system dot out dot println. Okay, so cell dot, if you type, you'll see like, all these values, like get boolean cell value. Okay, let me use this one, get. Okay, get boolean cell value, get numeric cell value, get string cell value. Like this you get like, all the different methods that you see. Okay, let me use get string cell value. Okay, so I'm printing the cell value of that one. Okay, so do you understand this one? First we have created an workbook object. Okay, since we are using xlsx files, okay, so we are using xlsx workbook. But what does it need? It need a file input stream object. So we have created a file input stream by passing the path of this Excel sheet, and then we have created an workbook object. Once this is created, then what we are doing, we are accessing the sheet by creating a sheet object here. Okay, which is xlsx sheet is equal to workbook dot get sheet of sheet 1. And once we get access to the sheet, then we are getting access to the particular row. Okay, by using the row class, we are creating an object for this row using the sheet object we have created, sheet dot get row of, provide the number for the row. Once that is done, then we are creating an object for the particular cell within this row using row dot get cell of that cell number. Okay, and based on whether the cell is numeric or boolean or string or date, anything, we have different methods to read the data from that one. Since this is a string value that we know, we are using cell dot get string cell value. Okay, now let me run this one. Run as Java application. See, we got Robert. Okay, so that means we are getting this one. So this one is 0th row, and this one is first row, second row, third row, fourth row. Similarly, this is 0th column, first column, second column. Okay, since we are accessing the first row, if you see, this is the get row 1. Okay, we are getting this entire row 1. Within this one, again, we are using get cell 1. So this is 0 and this is cell 1. So we are getting Robert. Okay, so we are getting Robert. Got it? Any questions here so far? Everyone, like, do you understand this one?
So the path we are entering here, that path will be actual path, or like it is part of the path.
Since, okay, this data folder is within our project. If you see here, like, this is our data folder. If we are having the data within our project, then you can directly give the path starting from this data folder. You don't need to give the full hard-coded path. Okay, you
We
got,
have
you
to
got it?
copy paste your data, like we have to paste here the file name and everything.
Yes, yeah. You have to provide, like, the entire file name here. So see, my data folder, if you see this one, I have my data folder within this project. Okay, under this data folder I have this sample underscore xlsx dot xlsx. So data slash sample. If you have this one not in this project but somewhere else, like, somewhere in the C drive, then you have to provide the full path, like C colon 2 // and then the entire path you have to provide. But here, since we have our files within the project, you don't need to give, like, the entire full hard-coded path, like, C colon something, but you can give it starting from this data folder. Okay, it will get, like, the data from here. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. Any other questions? Okay, yeah, that's fine. Now, okay, so we got the string. Let's get, like, other cell values. Okay, since I have got, like, the first cell value. Okay, let me start, like, getting it from the first one itself, like, which is test case, and then first name, last name, like this. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm first getting the cell value of 0. Okay, and then I'm using system dot out dot println. Okay, and then cell dot first one is a numeric value. Okay, get numeric value, right? This is a numeric value that we are getting. Okay, and so let me see, it should show 1 now. Let me run this one, run as Java application. Okay, yeah, 1.0, like, we are getting that value. Okay, and then let us use the same cell object to read row dot get cell of 1. Okay, which is the first name we are getting. Okay, and then let us use the same thing. Let me copy paste this one. Okay, and here I am getting the second sorry, let me put a colon here. Okay,
So why we are not using for loop here?
what
Why we are not using for loop, like
we
giving
will
one, two?
we will come to that part. Okay, we'll come to that.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we have we are we are accessing the second cell. Okay. What is the second cell? The second cell is this one, which is again another string. Okay. Now coming to the next one. Okay, which is okay, which is the third one, which is again another integer age. Okay. So again here I have to use cell dot get, okay, string cell value. Okay, we have to use get string cell value. And the next thing, the next one is company, which is IBM. Okay, so let me copy this one and let me do 4 here, and then again, like, since this is a string value, we have to use, like, the same string cell value. What is the next one? The next one is salary. Okay, so let me use this fifth one here, and again this salary is in number, right? So we will use dot get numeric cell value. Okay, so again okay, the next one is boolean value. Okay, this is a new one, Boolean value. Okay, so the next one, let me get this one. Okay, 6. Okay, 6. Okay, 0 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, manager. Okay, 6. Okay, this is again a boolean value, right? So dot get boolean cell value we have to use. Okay, this is a true or false, right? Okay, and the next one is date of joining. This is a date actually. Okay, so now let me use this one and then use, since okay, first we need to change this one. Okay, and then the get, yeah, date cell value. Okay, so these are the different methods we have. For numeric we have get numeric cell value. For strings we have get string cell value. For boolean we have true or, for true or false we have get boolean cell value, and then we have get date cell value. Okay, let me run this one. Okay, so we got like a numeric cell value 1.0, correct? Okay, and then we have this one. Okay, let me see this one. The third cell value. Okay, so 0 1 2 3. Okay, this is an integer actually, but we have used here 0 1 2 3. Okay, so this one we have to use get numeric cell value. That's why we are throwing, it is throwing an, see, it is throwing illegal state expression, cannot get a string value from a numeric cell value. Okay, so because this is a numeric value but we are using string cell value, so it is giving error. So let me use get numeric cell value. Okay, let me run this one again. Run as Java application. Okay, so we have 1.0 Robert Smith. Okay, everything is good until the last one, which is okay. You're actually thinking that like it's a date cell value, but it is saying that okay, it's not a date actually, but cannot Boolean value is not, cannot get a numeric cell value from string cell. It is saying that like it is actually a string. Okay, yeah, because if you see like we have included a simple in the Excel, we have included like this colon, not colon, what is the symbol, apostrophe. Okay, which we have converted this date to a string. Generally, like when we have the dates in the Excel, it will give like some kind of problems. That's why we always use this symbol. Okay, the starting symbol is a simple apostrophe, not apostrophe. Actually, this is no, not colon. Also, this symbol. Okay, we use a single quote, single quote. Okay, so which will convert this entire thing into a string. Okay, so basically this is a string value. That's what it is saying. So let us use get string value here. Okay, so this is how we get the data from an Excel sheet. Okay, do you guys understand this one, this whole program, how we are accessing the workbook first? Okay, so for accessing and then we have to, okay, of course, for accessing the workbook first we have to create an file input stream and we have to pass that object to the workbook. Once we create an workbook, and then we have to create we have to get access to the sheet by creating an object for the sheet, and then we have to get access to the row by creating an object for the row, and then we have to create an object for the cell, and by using the get cell method on the row. Okay, now we, once we get the cell object, then we have different methods to get the values from the cell. Get numeric cell value, get string cell value, get boolean cell value, get date cell value. Like that we have different methods. Okay, any questions so far on like how to get the data from Excel? Okay, fine. Now we have seen this xlsx extension, but we may also have like Excel sheets with .xls extension. Let me open this one. Open with the system editor. Okay, so this is again like sample underscore xls. This is with xls extension. Okay, so when we have like when we have to work with excels with xls extension, okay, then as we discussed previously, we have to use hssf workbook. Okay, let me copy this one. Okay, so I'll say hssf. Okay, so if we use like let's say I'm using like xls. Okay, so I have to use hssf workbook here, hssf. Okay, new hssf. Okay, so let me import this hssf workbook. Okay, once we use this hssf workbook, okay, then we have to create a sheet object using hssf sheet. Okay, and import this hssf sheet. Okay, we have imported this one. Everything else is same. Okay, only the workbook and sheet objects will differ if you use xls extension files. Okay, we have to use hssf workbook and then hssf sheet. Everything else is same. Okay, so in this one we have the first one as this one. First one is an integer string, integer string, and we don't have like anything like a date of joining or something. Okay, so let us comment this one date of joining in this one, which is cell 7. Don't have cell 7 here. 0 1 2 3 4 5, only 5 we have. Okay, so the first one, let us see, but we have like 7 here. First one is a numeric cell value. Okay, numeric cell value. Fourth one is a numeric cell value. Fifth one is a string cell value. Salary. Okay, we don't have this one also, manager or something. So let me copy this one. Let me comment this one. Okay, okay. So everything else will be same. Let me run this one. Run as Java application. Mm, Oh, sorry, we don't have this file. What it is saying is, see, the file name is sample underscore xls dot xls. Okay, we don't have any file like sample underscore xlsx dot xls. The system cannot find the file specified. That's what it is saying. So let me update this path here. So it is sample underscore xls dot xls. Okay, let me run this one again. Run as Java application. Okay, so we are getting these values. Okay, so do you understand like how the difference between these two files and what objects that we have to use? There are like two xls files, which is excel files, which are xlsx and xls. Okay, xlsx and xls. Okay, if you want to work with xlsx, we have to use xssf workbook and xssf sheet. If you want to work with xls files, okay, you have to use hssf workbook and hssf sheet. For both of these, we need to pass the file input stream objects. Okay, and all the other things are same, like row and cell objects are there same. Okay, any questions on this one so far? Just one more thing, like that we have to do. Once we are done with this one, we have to close this file input stream and also workbook. We have to close both of them. Okay, so finally at the end, workbook dot close we have to do, and fis dot close. Okay, that's also we have to do. We have to close like both of these things, because we are opening those files and we are not closing them, so they may give memory leak issues. Okay, so we have to use workbook dot close and then fis dot close. Okay, so any questions, guys, for anyone? Like do you understand like how do the basic program for accessing the excel sheets? Okay,
Subbu, here we are doing for row 1, row 2, like that, right?
yeah.
For the entire page, if it is a huge data means.
Yeah, we'll come to that point. Okay, first I'm showing you like how to get
Okay,
a single cell value. I have shown you this one.
okay,
Okay,
okay.
and then we will see. Okay, so the way that I'm telling you is, first I'm showing you how to get a single cell value, single cell. Okay, so that you will understand basically how we are getting the data from an Excel sheet. Okay, and then I will show you how to get data from the entire row. That means all the cells in this one. I'll show you this one. And then how to get data from the entire sheet. That means all rows and all cells. Okay, this is what this is how we will be going. Okay, and then I'll show you how to read all this data into a map, because once we are using if we want to use our data from this one, generally we read it into a map and we use that map in our Selenium scripts. Okay, this is how we'll be going. Okay, first I showed you how to read data, how to get the data from a single cell based on the different Excel sheets that we are using. Okay, and then we'll go into this one. Okay, how to get the entire row data. We'll go into this. Okay. Okay, sorry. Okay, fine. So you have seen this one. Okay, let me go into the next. Okay. Okay, so reading data from a cell we have seen. Actually, okay, I think yesterday I forgot to give you the document, and also I didn't upload the video also. Today I will upload. But one more thing that I'm doing is, I have already created all these programs for you, because okay, here we are not creating the programs one by one, but because we are changing some of these programs. Okay, so I have created see, yeah, this is the one. Okay, where I have created for you guys the basics. Okay, which contains all the programs, like basic script on Chrome, Firefox, and all the programs that we have seen, like find elements method, text area checkbox, finding total checkboxes, number of checkboxes, and selecting a radio button example. So everything that we have seen in the core Selenium, like child windows. Okay, actions class, frames, uploading images, okay, and tables. Okay, so everything I have created them. Okay, and I have exported this one. I have exported this entire project. Okay, so I will upload it to our Google Drive. Okay, let me show you where I have uploaded this one. So online training. So Eclipse underscore Selenium training. Okay, this is where I have uploaded this entire thing. So you can I'll zip this one. Okay, and I will upload it to our Google Drive, so that you can download it from there and you can import it into your Eclipse and you can see these programs. Okay, and similarly yeah, car rental page object model, car rental scripts and car rental pages that I have created. Okay, I have put them here. And currently okay, extent reports and screenshots, we'll see it in our next class. Currently we are working on this basic I mean Excel operations. Okay, so all the programs I have put them here. Okay, I will upload both this Java and Selenium into our Google Drive, so that you can check them. Okay, I'll give you the document, I'll upload the documents also, but you have the programs also here. So you can if you have any questions on the programs that we are doing, you can directly import these projects into your Eclipse. Just once you download the zipped folder, just unzip that folder and go to file and use this import section. Okay, import section, and use general and file system, and click on next. And then you have to browse the downloaded folder. Got it? How to import this one? I'll put it in the shared drive. Okay, once I put it in the shared drive, just download that one, unzip it, and put it in a separate folder. Okay, and then you can just go into this file. Okay, and import, and then general, and then go to file system. Okay, and then browse the directory that you have imported. Okay, and click on finish. Okay, I'll put it in the share drive. Okay, now we have seen these basic two programs, xlsx and xls. Okay, let us say whatever the file it is, okay, we would like to have only one program. We should be able to work with either xls extension or xlsx extension. How to do that one? Any idea? Can anyone tell me, I just want to write only one program for either xlsx or xls. How to do that one? Any idea?
Maybe using an if condition, checking for the file extension before.
Exactly. Okay, so what we have to do is first we have to get this extension. If it is xlsx, create objects for this xlsx workbook. If it is xls, create objects for hssf workbook and hssf sheet. Okay, so for this one, okay, let me show you this program here. Okay, we'll prepare this one also. Okay, so I have some data sheet path I'm creating. Okay, so yeah, for getting the extension, okay, you can use the string methods to get the extension here. You can use the string methods, but we have something called file name utils. File name utils we have, okay, which is from let me open this pom.xml here. So the pom.xml, okay, so the file name utils, we will get it from commons IO package. Okay, commons IO package. So if you the file name utils is a separate they are separate jar files which are mainly used to work with files, you can get the file extensions, or you can copy the file from one place to another place. So file name utils is from commons-io. Okay, so first we have to get that one. Okay, let me close this one. Okay, let me go into our pom.xml. So this is our pom.xml. So let us add this one. So let me go here. Let me go into this google.com. So I'll say Maven file name utils dependency. Okay. So if I go here, so this is nothing but commons-io. Okay. So okay. So this is I have commons-io. Let me copy this one, this dependency. Okay, and let me put it here. Okay, it will import all the files that are needed. Okay, so now it is done. Okay, now let me go into this Excel operations. Okay, let me create this one. Okay, so let me create a new program here. So let me copy basically this thing. Okay, basic PR. Let's say this is program 3. Okay, program 3. Okay, so it is xlsx or xls, basically anything. Okay, we should be able to work with anything basically on this one. Okay, so now let me get the file extension here. Okay, the file extension is whether it is xlsx or xls. Okay, so now I'll say string file path equals to, I'm just creating a string first basically. Okay, so this is my string, this is my string. Okay, so let me get the extension here. So string extension equals to, I think it is like file name utils dot, okay, get extension. Okay, get extension. Okay, so this file name utils, it is from it is from the commons.io jar file that we have downloaded. Okay, so now we got the file name extension. Okay, so now we get the file name extension. So based on this extension, we will create these objects. Okay, for example, if this extension dot equals, if this extension dot equals, generally we use equals ignore case instead of just equals, so that it will compare by ignoring the case. If it is equals, okay, xlsx, okay, if it equals to xlsx, then create an object for xlsx workbook and xlsx sheet. Okay, else, okay, we will create an object for HSSF workbook and HSSF sheet. Okay, so let me copy this one, put it here. Okay, so but again, since we have already have the file path here, okay, let me put this file path here and let me update this file path here. Okay, but see, first we are using like just a string for getting where we have stored our the path. Okay, and then we are using file name utils and dot get extension. Where did we get this file name utils? We have it from commons-io, the dependency that we have added. Okay, we got it from there. Okay, and then we are using dot get extension of file path. Okay, let me print this one for the timing. Okay, so this is extension is this one. Okay, plus extension. Okay, so now if this extension is equals to xlsx, create an object for this workbook, xlsx workbook and xlsx sheet. If it is xls, okay, or you can just simply say, let me copy this one, else if xls. Okay, if the file extension is xls, if there is any other output, it won't basically execute. Okay, so now file file input. Okay, so if it is xls, we are creating an object for hssf workbook and hssf sheet. Okay, but if you see, it is throwing an error here, sheet at sheet.get row, because we don't have any sheet object. The sheet object that we have created here, this is local to this one, local to this. Okay, it is not outside of this if block. So that is why it is throwing an error saying that sheet cannot be resolved, because it doesn't know what this sheet variable is or sheet object is. So what we have to do, so before going into this one, okay, we have to create this workbook, kind of like a global variable, not global variables, like local variables we are creating. Okay, equals to null, we are saying, and then okay, anyhow, we don't need this one. Just all we need to do is we need to create objects for this xss, because this is what we are using outside. So just equals to null. Sorry, I think we have to use it just give 1 second. We have created this one, right? So yeah, we have to use the sheet object here, not these individual ones. Okay, just create sheet objects. Okay, sheet object, and then we can also create workbook object as workbook. Also, now let me import this workbook and also import this sheet. Import sheet arg.apache dot, why it is showing two times, I'm not sure. First one is SL user model and second one is SS user model. Okay, so and then let me remove these ones. Okay, so add cache to sheet and add cache to sheet, but still it is throwing errors like add cache to sheet. Let me see, let me try this one. I'm not sure, let me if this works or not, but let me just try this one. Okay, errors existing in the proceed. Okay, I think there is some error at the bottom. Okay, so let me comment this one. Let me run as Java application. Okay, so this is still like throwing an error here. Let me see this program. So basically what we are doing is we have created a data sheet path string, and then we are creating string extension one is equal to, we are getting the extension here, and we are getting the file name file input stream, and we have created workbook objects here. If extension one dot equals ignore case xlsx workbook is equal to new workbook. Okay, everything is correct. Let me just copy this one. Okay, and let me put it here. But still we are getting errors in this one. Let me, why it is throwing add cache to sheet, why it is giving this error. We don't, workbook is equal to new xlsx workbook. We don't need to cache this one, but let me cache this. Okay, and let me add cache. Okay, let me add cache to sheet. Okay, let me run this one. Okay, so no class definition found for org slash apache slash commons slash io slash output. I think the problem is with the 03 basics program 31 workbook. No class definition not found. Unsynchronized array exception. I think the problem is with, let me just go into this one, with the commons -io version that we are using, version 2.6 we are using, right? Let me just change this version and see, like, mm, Apache Commons IO. Okay, we have something called 2.11 version, which is latest. Okay, 2.6 version is the oldest one. Let me change, like, this one to 2.11.0. So 2.11.0. So let me update this one 2.11.0. Okay, let me save it so that it will update this one. Now it is updated. Let me go into this run as Java application. Okay, class cached exception. So sheet cannot be cached to. Okay, so now, like, I think we don't need these ones. Okay, but still it is add cache to sheet on Java. Class cached exception. arg.poi.xsf user model xsf sheet cannot be cached to sheet arg. or an unnamed module of loader app. Okay, that's fine. I'll check this one. Okay, I'll check this program and I'll let you know. Okay, I'll correct this one. Not sure like why it is throwing an error, but you understand this thing, right? Basically, what we have to do is we have to find out the extension here. Okay, if the extension is xlsx, create an object for xlsx workbook. Okay, if the extension is xls, create an object for hssf workbook. Okay, and similarly create an object for sheet. Okay, this one. Okay, any questions on this one? I'll see like why it is failing. I'll fix this one and I'll tell you in the next session. Okay, but do you understand the logic behind this one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Yes.
yeah, and just one more thing. See, here we are using xlsx workbook and earlier, right? We are using xlsx workbook and hssf workbook. But here, if you see, we are using workbook here. So the reason is basically when we have like something called workbook is the class, okay, where they have created xlsf workbook subclasses, okay, and hssf workbook. Okay, so here we are using like outside of this we are creating an object for this one workbook, the parent class object, so that whether it is an xssf workbook object or hssf workbook object, we can assign it to the workbook. That's why we are creating an object for that. Similarly, for sheet also we have something. Okay, sheet is the main class. Okay, we have this xssf sheet, hssf sheet. Okay, that's why we are using those parent class objects here, and we are creating objects of these subclasses xssf workbook or hssf workbook, and we are assigning them to the parent class object. Okay, so this is what like we are doing it here, but I'll check this program. I think basically like it is giving some problem with class cached exception. We don't need this casting also, actually speaking. But why this is giving the error? Now let me see the original program. New XSFO. New XSSF workbook of FIS. Okay, we have created FIS object data sheet path we have taken. Okay, and we are getting the extension and XSSF workbook.
So, is that anything to do with the or.apache.poi SL user model or SS user model? How it is showed up two options for you when you report?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that might be the problem, but I mean, previously, like, when I executed this one, if you see, like, even I didn't cache this one to the even the sheet. It worked fine. Workbook is equal to null. Sheet is equal to null. Maybe this is because let me see, like, what I'm importing it here. So I'm always using like SS here. I'm not using SL, but if I see here. So here I'm using, see, SL. It should be SS.
Yeah.
That's the reason. Okay, so I mean for the sheet or like cell and row anything, it should be only we have to use SS dot user model. Okay, sometimes like we may face these issues because of in Java. Basically, we are having like different the same class names with under different packages. So when we are actually importing the sheet, we have to import it correctly. Earlier, okay, let me remove this one and show you this one more time. I have just removed the sheet object. Okay, now it is showing you an error here. So when I am importing this one, I have used SL. I have imported this one SL, but we have to import this SS. Okay, just remember that one. Okay, we can't do anything like about that. Okay, sometimes like we face these issues because this same sheet is there in both like two packages, SL and SS. Okay, that's why like it is giving this error. Okay, so now I have created a sheet object here. Okay, I have created a sheet object here, and that sheet object, okay, we are getting the sheet name and assigning it to this one. Let me run this one more time. Run as Java application. I think earlier, like the problem is also not with the version of this one, but it is with uh, the package that we have imported. Okay, so now we are getting the cell value, string cell value, and we are printing that one, Robert. Okay, so whether you pass it like anything, whether you pass it like xlsx or xls, okay, anything, it should work now. But again, here like you should have like the same cell value. Okay, cannot find the okay, the path should be correct. Okay, let me run this one again. Run as Java application. Okay, so again, the first cell value that we are collecting here, like in both the files, it is string only. That's why we are able to use get string cell value. Okay, so do you understand this program, or like you have any questions? Okay, what we did was first we have created an object for the I mean we have created a string with where like we have this even we don't need to have like this okay, where we have this xls or xlsx files, and then we are getting the extension using file name details. Okay, this is from common-io. Okay, and then we are okay, and then we are adding this data. We are creating a file info stream object, and we are creating objects for this parent classes workbook and sheet. Okay, if you don't create objects for this parent classes, okay, if you want to directly use this, then you cannot do that, because if you create like something like xsf workbook, okay, xsf workbook, if you create this one, it will throw an error in this else condition, because it is an hssf workbook. It's a different class. You cannot assign this class object to this xssf workbook, because if you see here, see, workbook is the parent class, and this is xssf workbook, and this is hssf workbook. Okay, so I'm creating an object for this parent class here. Okay, so that I can assign either this object or this object to this. Okay, so that's why we have created this workbook is equal to null, and sheet is equal to null, and based on the extension we are creating objects for this workbook or sheet. Okay, and then again everything else we are getting an object for the even not sheet dot get row. I don't think like we need this one also. Let me try this one. Sheet.get row, run as Java application. Yeah. Okay. Again, everything else is same. Okay. We have to just like use get row method and then get cell method, and then we can get the actual cell value. Okay. Any questions on this one? Any questions, guys? Did everyone like understand this? Ankur,
Yes,
Suman,
we got it.
Ramesh. Okay, just
Yeah.
practice this one. Once you practice this, then you'll get it. I'll send you like this. I'll upload the whole file. Let me upload it like now itself. Okay, instead of like forgetting this one, let me upload it now itself, so that you can download these programs and you can practice this one. Okay, so let me go to Drive. Okay, Selenium training. Okay, in this one I'm creating a new, instead of creating a new folder, like I can directly upload it here, so that you can directly download this one. Okay, let me go here, eclipse underscore Java and eclipse underscore Selenium. Okay, let me add to archive or send to compressed zip folder. And eclipse underscore selenium. Let me send to compressed zip folder. Okay, so I'm adding like both of them here itself. Okay, so just download them, unzip them, okay, and import your files. Okay, so both are like done here. The files eclipse underscore java.zip, eclipse underscore selenium, like whatever the programs that I have shown you so far, everything will be there in this one, these two files. Okay, so you can download them and you can check them. Okay, fine. Now let us see like the next one, which is okay, we have seen like all these things. Let me see the next program. The next program is about reading data from a cell. Okay, so far like whatever we have seen, the after getting the cell object, what we are doing, if it is a string, we are using get string cell value. Okay, if it is a numeric cell value, we are using get numeric cell value. Like this we are using, right? But in the actual Selenium automation, what you do, everything that you enter is a string basically. If you want to enter some value into a text box or text area, what is that one? Basically, you are entering a string. The send keys method that you use, it is a string, right? It is basically a string. The send keys method that you use, it basically uses a string. See, whatever like we use like driver dot find element something we'll use, right? And then you use send keys method. So what is this send keys method? We use double quotes in the send keys method, if you remember. That means basically we are using a string here in the send keys method. Okay, so if you use like something like get numeric string cell value, okay, and if you try to enter this value, if you try to enter this value in your Selenium script, it will fail because it won't accept a numeric cell value, right? So if there is a way to convert this all these values into a string, then you can directly use it in your Selenium scripts, right? You got what I'm saying? See, we have based on the string and based on the cell value, okay, we are using different methods like get string cell value or get numeric cell value. But if we can convert this entire thing, whether it is a numeric value or whether it is a boolean value or anything, if you can convert it to a string, you can directly use it in your Selenium scripts, right? So for that one, we have something called data formatter. Okay, if you use data formatter, okay, you don't need to use any methods like string cell value, get string cell value, get numeric cell value, like that. Okay, you can directly use like one thing called df dot format cell value method, which will convert that cell value, to a string value basically. Okay, for that one, what we have to use is like we have to use data formatter df is equal to, first we have to create an object for this data formatter, and then simply use, once you get the cell object, simply use df dot format cell value, pass this cell value, that's it. You will simply get like the string cell value. Let me show it to you in this program. Okay, I'm taking this first program, which is xlsx workbook. Okay, because we have a lot of things that we have used in this one, like get string cell value, get numeric cell value, get boolean cell value, like this. So I'm taking this one. Okay, I'm saying data formatter. Okay, let me take this one. Okay, in this one, once we get like the cell value, okay, once we get the cell value, like row dot get cell of 1, okay, we are using this get string cell value, get numeric cell value. So instead of this one, what I will do is like I will create, yeah, I'll create before this, I'll create an object for data formatter. Data formatter df equal to, okay, new data formatter. Okay, import data formatter. Okay, so now I have imported this data formatter. Okay, so in this one, data, I think like, okay, data. Okay, yeah. So now I have created a data formatter object. Okay, so now once I get like this cell value, instead of using this cell dot get numeric cell value, I can use df dot, okay, df dot format cell value. I have, okay, I can use format cell value, and then I can put cell. Okay, instead of writing it like cell dot get string cell value, uh, uh, get numeric cell value like that, I can directly use df dot get format cell value. So now I'm getting this one. Okay, so now let me copy and paste the same thing everywhere here. Okay, so instead of using like get string cell value, get numeric cell value like this, okay, I can use just df dot format cell value, which will bring everything into string format. Okay, whether it is a boolean value or anything. Okay, got this one. The advantage in using this the data formatter is, okay, you don't have to worry like whether it returns as a numeric cell value or integer cell value or boolean cell value or anything. Okay, it directly it converts like this format cell value, this converts that cell value into a string, and it returns that value. The advantage here is I can capture this one into a string. I can use it in Selenium scripts. Okay, so do you understand this data formatter?
Yes, so
Okay,
Yes.
just in our Selenium scripts, we use this one data formatter instead of using like that get string cell value or get numeric cell value like that. We can directly use this data formatter, and it will be easy because if we use this data formatter and then df dot format cell value of cell, it will directly return a string value. And if we capture this one into a variable, okay, string variable, we can use it in our Selenium scripts directly. Okay, so this is one thing like that we have to remember, this data formatter. Okay, now
So,
yeah,
yeah. So basically, we are actually reading from a file which is XLS file
yeah,
and getting the values as a strings, even the its output is same, getting
yeah,
as strings, and we will pass them into our forms into the web page or somewhere,
yes,
right? In the web
yes,
elements,
yes,
in
yeah,
automated.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
We'll see an example also for that one, but
Yeah, yeah,
basically,
yeah, yeah.
initially, what I'm telling you, how to read the data from the Excel. Okay, so
Yeah.
let us say, like in our car rental script, I'll show you that example. Like we have like where we have to in our
Pass them.
admin script. Okay, in our admin script, we have to upload a new vehicle. Okay, we have to
Yeah.
publish a new vehicle. So that data, like generally we can put it in an Excel sheet. Okay, like
Mm.
vehicle name of the vehicle and brand of the vehicle. So all those details we'll put it. Okay, and we'll capture them into a map. Basically, we'll capture like all this data into a map, and this map we'll use it in our Selenium script. Generally, this is what all our Selenium scripts when we are doing a data-driven program. Okay, we'll capture all this data into a map basically, and we'll use that map in our Selenium scripts. But before going into this map, like how to read that data into a map, the basic things like that you have to understand is like how to read a value from a cell first. Okay, while you are reading the value from a cell, we have how to I mean, we have to create a workbook object, we have to create a sheet object, and then we have to create a row object, and then we have to create a cell object. But while we are reading the data from the cell, we have to use again different methods, like get, if it is a string, we have to use get string cell value. If it is a numeric cell value, we have to use get numeric cell value. That will cause, like, some kind of a problem for us when we are actually reading the data. So instead of using that one, we can directly use a data formatter. If we use data formatter, then we can directly say df dot format cell value of this cell object. That's it. Okay, you don't need to worry about, like, whether it is a string or numeric cell or anything like that. So what is the advantage here? If we capture this value into a string, okay, we can then move it into a map. Okay, we can just send it into a map, and we can use that map directly in our Selenium script. Okay, so we are going, like, one by one, so that it will be easy for you to understand. Okay. Okay, so now we have done, like, for a single cell so far. Now how to read the data from an entire row. Okay, we are doing it, like, cell by cell. Now let us see, like, how to read the data from an entire row. Okay, from an entire row. Okay, again, what we have to do is, again, this the let me control C, control V, entire row. Okay, so again, this will be same, like, the first thing is we have to create an workbook object, and then we have to create an xlsx I mean sheet object that we have to create. Once we have to create, okay, I would like to get the data from this entire row. Okay, from this entire row here, instead of, like, getting it the individual cells, like get cell of 0, get cell of 1, like this. Okay, I want to get that, I want to print the data from the entire row. For this one, what we have to do, okay, while creating this object, we have to use a loop here. We have to, okay, this row contains, like, multiple cells, right? We have to loop through each cell. Okay, each cell, and then we have to get that value. Okay, Ankur, like, the one that you have asked, like, why can't we use for loops? Okay, this is where, like, we are coming here. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so now let us create an iterator on this row object. Okay, so for this one, let me just go here, like, entire row. Okay, let me show you this one here. Okay, so we know that this row contains a number of cells. Okay, so in this one, so we are creating an iterator on this row object. What does this iterator returns? It returns an iterator object, and this iterator object, it contains all the different cells. So we'll use while it has next. Then if you remember, like, the iterator method, do you remember, like, the iterator method that we have used in the collections framework? Basically, we,
Yes.
yeah, just go to that, like, collections framework, and just refer to that, like, how we loop through a collection using iterator. Okay, so we'll create an iterator object first. Okay, what does this iterator object contains? It contains a number of cells. So we use has next method. What does this has next method does? It will tell you whether it has a next cell or not. If it is has a next cell, then it will go into the loop. Otherwise, it will come out of the loop. Okay, so let me execute, like, in this one, and I will show you entire row. Okay, so now I'll say instead of this one, like, let me remove this entire thing from here. Let me remove this entire thing. Okay, so I'll say row dot iterator. Okay, it will return an iterator of cell. Okay, so row dot iterator, I'll say iterator. Okay, so let me I think this should be capital I. Okay, so again we have looked at multiple things. Import iterator from java.util. Okay, this is the package like where to import it. Okay, so I have created an iterator object on this row. Okay, what does this iterator object contains? It contains like this different cells. So now we can use while loop here. While okay, it dot has next. Okay. Now we create a cell object. Cell equals to it dot next. Okay. Now we can use the method which is a format cell method df dot format cell to print that value. Okay. So I'll say system dot out dot println. Okay. So df dot format cell value of cell. Okay. So this way we can print the entire row. Let me run this one, run as Java application. Errors exist in the current. What error do we have in this one? Okay, fine. Okay, so we are printing all the values here. Okay, so simple. What we are doing is after we are creating the row object, what is the row object contains? It contains multiple cells. Okay, so I'm creating an iterator object on this one, row dot iterator. So it will return me an iterator object. Okay, so this object contains multiple cells. So I'm checking in the while loop if this it dot has next, if it contains the next element, which is nothing but a cell. Okay, so now I am creating a cell object, cell is equal to it dot next. Okay, and then I'm directly using this data formatter df dot format cell value to print the value. Okay, do you guys understand this one or any questions?
Subbu, what is cell is equal to it next? What does this
Okay.
mean?
Okay, so earlier what we have done in this program, let me show you this one. Okay, so once we create this object, once we create the row, okay, let me close. Okay, once we create this row, what we have done here, we are getting the cell value using row dot get cell. Okay, so it will give you one particular cell which is 0th cell we are getting. Okay, let me
Yeah.
explain to you. Okay, so we have created a row object initially. Okay, which is a row object, and originally we are doing it row dot get cell of 0. We are getting it. Okay, in this program what we are doing is we have created a row object. Okay, but on this one, okay, what does this row object create? It contains like multiple cells, like cell 0, cell 1, cell 2, like this, right? And in the previous program we are getting the cell that we need. If we want cell 0, we are using get cell method. But in this one, okay, once we get this row object which contains these multiple cells, cell 0, cell 1, cell 2, we are using the iterator on this one, row dot iterator. Okay, if you remember, like in our collections framework, when we use an iterator on a collection, okay, what it will do, it will return you an iterator object. What does that iterator object contain? It contains like multiple cells. Okay, so we are getting an iterator object, iterator of cell, it contains cell, and I'll say it. Okay, but what is it it contains? It contains all these different cells. Okay, now we have to get like each and every one of these. So what we have to do is we have to use the while loop here, while it dot has next method we have to use.
Okay.
Okay,
See, this
so
has next method will verify whether it will be having different
whether
cells
it
or
is
not, right?
having the next cell or not. Okay, we will
Okay,
come
sorry,
to that.
next cell or not.
Yeah, so first it will check. Okay, the first time, okay, it checks. Okay, does it has a next element? That means which is cell 0. Yes, it has this cell 0. Okay, so then we'll create the cell object, cell equals to it it will only check this one. It won't move to this your pointer to this one. So we have to use it.next here. So this it.next, it will move to this cell. Okay, so we got this cell value. Now we will say like cell dot that sorry df dot format cell method, and then pass this cell value to get the actual value from this cell. Okay, now
Yeah.
cell 0 is done. Now it checks, okay, does this has like does this iterator object has the next cell? Yes, it has cell 1. Okay, so now it will go into this one again, it.next method. So now it will move to this one, it will get that value. Okay, now it will come here and again check, okay, does it has the next one? Yes, it has cell 2. Now it will move to the next one, cell 2, and it gets the value. Okay, now let's say we have only 3 cell values. Okay, now we are done. Now it will check whether while it has next, no, it doesn't have any next cell. So it will come out of the loop. Do you understand this one?
Yes.
Okay, any other questions? Just understand this iterator, like we have used it in collections framework. Okay, we have discussed this one in a collections framework. So okay, just check that one.
Okay, sir.
Okay, just refer to the collections and then you will understand this one. Okay, okay, so now we got the values from an entire row. For example, if you want to like sorry, where is this one? Data formatter, not data formatter, entire row. Okay, so in this one we got like for row 1, if you want to get like read row 0. Okay, so let me run this one, run as Java application. Okay, row 0 is nothing but a column, like test case, first name, last name, and all these things. Okay, for example, if you want to get the second row. Okay, now let me run this one, run as Java application. Okay, so like this we can get the data. Now okay, we have seen like how to get the data from an entire row, but we'd like to get the data from the entire sheet. Okay, we are going one by one. First, we have seen how to get a single cell value. We have seen. Okay, within the single cell value, we have seen the different methods like the data formatter method, or we can use like get string cell value, get boolean cell value, like this. We can. Now after that, we have seen how to get the data from an entire row. We have seen. Okay, we have taken like one particular row, like 0th row, first row, second row, like that. We have seen how to get the data from an entire row. We have seen, and the next one is how to get the data from an, sorry, just give me 1 second, guys. Okay, let me get like some water. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, so far like we have seen like how to get the data from a single cell and how to get the data from a single row. Okay, now let us see like how to get the data from an entire row, entire sheet. Okay, am I audible, guys? Just want to confirm. Hello.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Fine.
Abu, you are.
Okay. So now let us get this entire sheet. Okay. Okay, so again, this is simple. The same thing that we have done for like this row, we have to do it on the entire sheet. So for that one, what we will do, we will create an iterator object on the sheet itself. Okay, so I'll say iterator. Okay, in it will return row. Okay, something. Let us say row ID. Row ID equals to okay sheet dot iterator. Okay, sheet dot row iterator. I think we have in this one, which gives me an iterator of rows on the xlsx sheet. Okay, row iterator. Why it is giving row iterator? Let me just check this one. The sheet xlsx sheet. xlsx.user model. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay. So row iterator, like we got this one. We have this method on the sheet row iterator, which gives us the iterator object. Okay. Now what we have to do? We have to use while loop here. Okay. In the while loop, while row it dot has next. Okay, so in this one we will say in the row object we will say row it dot next. That's it. Okay, so again we have to close this one here. Okay, so simple. What we did was like we created again the iterator object on the sheet dot row iterator, which will give me again. I have used row it dot has next. That means when it has a next row, okay, then move to the next row, move to the next row and get that row into the row object. That's all. Okay, let me run this one. Run as now it has to print like the whole sheet, but let us see. Okay, see, it is printing the whole sheet. Test case first name, last name. This is nothing but the header. It is printing, and then it is printing the data. This is the second row data, like this. Okay, you got this one. Simple. Like what we did was again what we have done on the row, we have done it on the sheet dot row iterator. Like we have used this method which returns me the iterator object, and then I'm using row it dot has next method. That means we are checking if this row it has next row or not, next row object or not. Okay, and then I'm moving to that particular row it dot next, and I'm collecting it into the row, and then again it will be another loop for the particular cell within the row. Okay, I have created a new loop on top of this one. That's all. Any questions here? Or do you guys understand, or like you have any confusion around this?
Subbu, like if you want to print everything in like in its own header, like how the seat exactly looks like in a table form. So we have the option here to make it display like that.
We can do that. Like you can see, I'm using a print ln method here. Okay, that is why it is printing the entire thing into multiple lines. See, in the system.out.println we have like two methods: system.out.print or system.out.println. Okay, so for that one let's try this one. I'm using like system.out.print. Okay, I will get it in a single row, everything in a single row here. Okay, let us say Java application. Okay, I'll get like the everything into a single row. Okay, but again if we want to print like in multiple rows. Okay, after this while loop, just type system.out.println. Okay, and I'm using some blank space I'm printing. So every time for one row, like it is completed, it will go to the next line. So let me run this one. Okay, run a Java application. Okay, see, we are getting everything into the next row. But again, the problem is we don't have spaces here after test case or something like that. Okay,
Okay.
so after each of these, after each of this, after printing the cell value, what I am doing is plus print backslash t. Backslash t is an escape character which prints a tab. Okay, for each after each of this, it prints see, so now we got a tab and we are getting the first one under this one. Of course, this based on this string values, it will give you the data like this.
Okay.
Okay, so we can do it like this. Okay, but generally, since we don't print it to the console. Okay, we don't print anything to the console generally, but what we do is we read this entire data into a map, and then we can use that map in our Selenium scripts.
Okay.
Okay, you can do this one,
Okay.
but you understand this one, right? How to read the entire
Yeah,
sheet.
yeah. Yes, I understood. Yeah.
Okay, so far we have seen how to read a single cell value, how to read the entire row, and how to read the entire sheet. Okay, so the next things that we have are reading all the data we have seen. Okay, the next things are reading the data into a map. Okay, that's one thing we have. And we can make it as a separate class, and we can read that data, creating a new workbook. Okay, writing data to a workbook and also writing data to an existing workbook. Okay, and we have an example for sign up new user. That means we have the data in an Excel sheet and we'll use that data to create a new user, or we can also have the have it for creating a new vehicle also. But I'll show you the new vehicle part instead of this new user, because you will get more experience if you can do it for a new vehicle. Okay, I'll show you that one. Okay, so I'll cover this one in the next session. We don't have a session tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday, right? Okay, so but again we'll be having session on Monday. Okay, 16th. Okay, so once these Excel operations are completed, then we'll go with the extent reports. Once these extent reports are completed, then we'll go with the log4j and test-ng. Log4j and test-ng. Once this is completed, then we can go with the project. Okay, Selenium
Database testing is, I think, also like.
database testing. We'll see it after the project. Okay, because we don't
Oh,
need
oh,
that one in the project, because if you learn all these concepts, see what did we see so far? We have seen the basic, I mean, core Selenium. We have seen the page object model. We have seen, right? Now we are looking
yeah.
into Excel operations. Okay, and
Yeah.
then we'll look into the reports. Okay, reports.
Okay.
Once that reports is done, then we'll look into log4j and test-ng. Once this is
Okay.
done, then we'll look at we'll do a small project by using all these concepts that we have learned. Okay, in that project we will use the core Selenium concepts and also page object model, extend reports, Excel operations for data driven testing, log4j2 for logging purpose, and test-ng framework. Using all those things, we will do a small project, so that then you will get an idea of how you use these individual concepts in a project level, at a project level. Okay, once that is done, then we'll look at the database testing, and we'll also look into Maven and also Git. Okay, uh, those things also we'll look into some in a detailed way, because so far Maven we are using only for creating the projects. Okay, we can do many things with Maven. We'll see them, and also we'll see a little bit more about Git. Okay, after that we'll go into Selenium BDD. Okay, but learn these concepts like carefully. Whatever we have seen so far, the page object model and these Excel operations that we are looking into, and then the reports section log4j2 and the test change is very important one. Okay, if you learn this carefully, then you can do a project on this one using all the concepts that we are learning in here. Okay, so just be careful with these concepts and learn these concepts carefully so that you can easily do a project with everything that we are learning. Okay, and I have already uploaded okay, I have already uploaded the programs here, Java programs and Selenium programs, which contains everything that we are doing right now. Okay, so you can download this one. I also
Yesterday's documents are also been pending, I guess.
yes, I will upload the recordings and also the document, because yesterday recording, I think document the page object model. I just need to update a little with whatever we have discussed yesterday. I have given a different pages in that one in the document, but
Yeah.
I would like to give our car rental project programs, right, that we have created
Yeah.
yesterday. I want to give that one. I want to update the document with that one. Once I update that one, I'll give it I'll upload it today itself. Okay,
Okay.
but at the same time, you can download these projects and you can look into these programs also, because the same programs will be there in this one also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So any questions? In the next session, these Excel operations will be completed. Okay. So but you have to practice these Excel operations. Okay, if you practice then only you can understand the concept behind this. Okay, anything else, guys? Okay, fine. Then I'll talk to you on Monday. Okay.
Okay, so
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you, guys. Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.